Spain is one of the most popular destinations in Europe for property investors, attracting people from all over the world. Whether they're looking for a holiday home, an investment property, or a place to live permanently, there are many reasons why you should consider buying a property in Spain. I get daily requests from investors and property buyers from all over the world who are very interested in purchasing real estate in Spain. But many of them do not have a clear idea of what are the closing costs they have to assume to buy a property. In this video, I want to explore with you more in detail about what are the closing costs when buying a residential real estate property in Spain. This is Oscar Turegano from Emergent Investors. We provide immigration, banking, and real estate solutions to foreign investors in Spain. Buying a retirement or investment property in Spain can be an exciting and rewarding experience, but it's important to be aware of the various closing costs that come with the purchase. These costs can add up quickly and may affect your budget, so it's important to factor them in your calculations before making an offer. Keep in mind that the closing costs will depend a lot on the region of Spain where the property is located. For instance, the closing cost of a property located in Madrid can be up to a half of the closing cost of the same property located in Barcelona. So the first and most important cost is the value-added tax or the property transfer tax. You will only have to pay one of these two taxes. If the property is new and you're buying straight from the developer, you will have to pay the VAT tax, which is a fixed 10% all around Spain. And you will also have to pay a stamp duty tax, which ranges from 0.5% to 1.5%, and this will depend on the region where the property is located. But if the property is second-hand, you will not pay the VAT tax, but instead you will pay the property transfer tax, which here in Spain we call it ITP and stands for Impuesto de Transmisiones Patrimoniales. The rate of this tax will depend again on the region where the property is located. Here in this picture you can see all the regions in Spain and their property transfer tax rates. The next cost is the property buyer agent fees and the lawyer fees. This cost is optional since you can buy a property with no help from anyone. However, that would probably not be a good move if you're not familiar with the real estate market in Spain, you don't speak Spanish, you don't know the negotiation culture here in Spain, and you don't know the Spanish real estate law. A property buyer agent like us will represent you through the whole process of buying a property. We will find the best properties on market, but especially off market, following your requirements. We will schedule all the viewings with you and help you through all the way up until signing the deed of sale at the Notary office and registering the property at the Land Registry office. Nobody better than a local property buyer agent know the real estate market, so they can find exceptional off-market deals with great discounts. Most of the properties they will show you come from their own network of contacts before they are put online in websites such as Idealista or Fotocasa. The difference in price between buying a property yourself or through a buyer agent can be up to a 10, 15 or even 20% in some cases. And especially if you're a foreign citizen, since in most cases the seller's agent will try to make more money out of you than they would with a local Spanish buyer. A property buyer agent will also provide you with legal advice and carry out all the due diligence to avoid debt subrogation and to make sure that you're not being scammed and the property has no hidden defects. So by hiring one of them, you will not have to hire a lawyer. And that said, the buyer's agent fee can be a fixed or a variable rate, but normally goes from around 2% to 4%. And that will depend on the location and the services provided. For example, if you're looking for a property in a very competitive and liquid market such as Madrid or Barcelona, their fees will be higher since it's harder to find good deals there. And if you only want to hire a lawyer for the due diligence, the fees will range from 1% to 2% of the purchase price. And if you're interested in hiring a property buyer agent for your property in Spain, feel free to contact me through the link you will find in the description below, and I will personally help you. So when you're ready to buy the property, you will have to assume two additional costs, which are the notary fees and the land registry fees. The notary is responsible for preparing the title deed and verifying that all legal requirements have been met. The cost of this service and who pays it is determined by law, but still this is something that you as a buyer have to negotiate with the seller, because if not, they will try to put this cost on you in the earnest money agreement. The notary fees for the buyer will depend on the purchase price of the property, but you can expect to pay around 0.2% to 0.5% of the purchase price. The land registry fees are also based on the purchase price, and it can range from 0.1% to 0.25%. So these are all the closing costs for buying a property in Spain. As you can see, the most important cost is the VAT tax or the property transfer tax if the property is second-hand. I would also like to mention that the seller's real estate agent fees are normally paid by the seller, and this is something that we always negotiate with the seller's party, since the one who actually requests for the service is the seller. So it doesn't make sense for the buyer to pay for this service. However, in some locations or working with some popular real estate agencies in Spain, I often see how they also charge a fee to the buyers. So let's say that if their fee is at 5%, they charge a 2.5% to the seller and a 2.5% to the buyer. This is something that I personally don't like at all, but you have to keep this in mind because it might happen to you if you are buying property in places like Valencia or Alicante. As a real estate investor myself, my advice here is to not refuse to pay that first, because many times you can find very good opportunities that are worthwhile even if you have to pay the seller's agent. In the end, what matters is not so much who pays the commission, but what are your total costs. We all would rather to pay 100,000 euros for a property while paying 3,000 euros in commission to the seller's agent than paying 110,000 euros with no commissions. Additionally, there will be other costs that you should consider, such as the bank transfer charges and the mortgage fees, in case you're going to take a mortgage. If you're going to take a mortgage, you can expect to pay around 0.5% to 2% of the total amount on bank fees. This fee depends on many factors, and this is something you can also negotiate with the bank. Actually, we recently had an operation where we did not pay any commission at all. As a property buyer agent specialized in foreign investors, we have our own mortgage broker specialized in non-resident foreign nationals and investors. So we negotiate with more than 35 banks in Spain on behalf of our clients to find the best mortgage offers. This service has an additional cost that can range from 1% to 2.5% of the mortgage amount. But you should not see this as a cost, but as an investment, since you will end up saving a ton of money in the long term by working with a mortgage broker. There is no way you can find better mortgage deals by your own. Actually, before working with clients, we always ask them to go find mortgages in Spain by themselves so they can compare what they found with what we found, and in any single case we find better deals. Here you have a summary with all the closing costs involved in buying a property in Spain. It's hard to say an approximate number because it will mainly depend on whether the property is new or second-hand, the location of the property, the purchase price, and whether you're going to take a mortgage or not. These costs can add up quickly, so it is important to budget for them when considering a property purchase in Spain.